Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
Spencer.
I'm Andrew.
This is the Board Game Rundown. Today we are going to review the Taverns of Tiefenthal by Wolfgang Warsch. This game plays 2 to 4 players. The reason for this, other than that it's been 2 years since we've reviewed one of my favorite games of all time, but we finally got the Open Doors expansion. It's been out in Europe for a minute. It's been out in the U.S. for a little bit, but it took us a little while to figure it out.
Right, yeah.
But once I found it, I didn't tell Bob that I got it because I wanted to surprise him and then roll in here, have it set up, and we can play. So Open Doors expansion, this first expansion, it comes with 4 modules that you can add to it. We played with the first 2, which is the sommelier and the extra rooms.
I was going to say in standard Taverns form, right? Like, oh, this one box, there's 4 modules in this one box.
Yes. Which, again, just the thing about Taverns that I absolutely love, always play it with, if not all the modules, almost every module.
Yeah, now I want to know what we missed. What are the 2 modules we don't have?
Yeah, none of your business. You don't get to know.
Nunya. Maybe the first one's called
That's
Nunya.
for next year's review.
Yeah, no, there's one where it's like there's a unique bartender and there's orders, and then there's the last one is the governor. Of the
Governor.
is there.
Snarky bartender and governor. Got it.
And yeah. So, but anyways, so we're going to very, very briefly kind of go over some of the basics of the game. Essentially what you're doing is you've got a deck of cards that are your regulars, and you're going to draw them out onto your board, your modular board, which is so cool, until all the tables in your restaurant are filled or your tavern are filled. And then you're going to roll your dice, and then we're going to draft the dice. Then you're going to assign them to the different different spots on your board, because the regulars have basically die values that they can take. They're going to give you thalers or gold, in exchange for that. You're also going to generate beer. You've got a reputation track that you're moving. That's a module. You could be earning schnapps. That's a module. You could, when you get new guests to come to your tavern, right? You're going to use beer to do that. That's not a module, but there is a guest book module, so which can add, extra things. You get them to sign your guest book. You fill it out. You're going to get nobles. You're going to get nobles in, blah, blah, blah. They like to sit together.
But these modules only take a paragraph to explain.
They
don't revolutionize the game in any way.
They're all very straightforward and make it just like an extra little layer to make the game a little more interesting.
A good mix and match.
So the expansions, what that does, the 2 we did, it gives you the sommelier first. That is a red cube. Basically, if you buy the guy, when you play him, he's going to give you a red cube, and that's going to go on the last customer to come in. So the one furthest to the right. Yeah. So it doesn't matter which one it is, because you've got to fill your tables, starting with closest to the
left
door.
Or right.
Yep. And then, so whatever one you get there, boom, that cube, that person's getting wine. And what it means is basically it's like they've had a die assigned to them. You could choose to not serve them wine if you wanted to place your die there. I don't know why you would.
I don't either.
I guess there could be a scenario where that comes up, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I know a scenario we would want to do that, because if I don't, would I have to give them wine, or could I just say I never give them anything? Because if I never give them anything, it prevents me from moving up here, which could give me extra points.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't add in my points at the end of the game.
You're right. I forgot about that too.
Too late. It's
Yeah,
already
I forgot about that
locked
too.
into the
I still came in third. It wouldn't have changed anything. But anyways, so that's what the sommelier does. That's basically the first module.
It's like a guaranteed number roll for the last table you have.
Yeah.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about rolling if your person in your last table is a 4. You don't have to worry about rolling
Draft
a
your
4
die
because
for that.
your wine
Yep.
is a
Taken
4.
care
It's
of.
just a red cube. So it's just whatever number it
Boom.
is.
Bob, is that a red cube to you?
No, it's brownish, but
Okay,
whatever.
that's fine.
Irrelevant.
Just want to make sure.
Yep.
But it looks different than
is
the other
wine
cubes.
brown
Is it
to
wine
you?
colored?
Is wine brown to you?
White, huh?
I guess wine is brown to
I would
you.
say it's a burgundy.
Should build a castle there.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, also, it can be upgraded like any other part of your tavern. And, so for X amount of thalers, you can upgrade
look
it.
the same.
They do get cheaper. Those are the same.
Okay, good.
So if you don't buy the sommelier, but you have it upgraded, then that just gives you that red cube every turn. So that's great. Awesome. Then the next one, and this one's really interesting, and really does add more of a layer, right?
Yes.
Other than just like, oh, here's another worker that does the thing, is the open rooms up at the top. And so what's going to happen with these rooms is you can, when you draw a noble, well, you can put them up in one of the rooms, and there's different actions, and you're basically going to assign them to one of those. Without it being upgraded, you can only assign one noble to a room. Once you've upgraded it, you can do 2 nobles. And then so basically what it's going to do is there's 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what's going to happen is when you draft that die or you claim that die, so if it's one of your own color, you get it immediately, or if it's one that you decide to draft that's being passed around. Once you draft it, you're going to do the thing that's on there. It can be gaining beer and thalers. It can be a reservation for a guest. So you're going to draw a card off the top of your deck, and you're going to put it wherever it applies in the tavern. And then the really cool thing is at the end of the round, you can then decide whether you want to put that guest back on top of your deck or just into your discard pile if it's one you're not that excited about. So that's kind of a neat.
And all of this without having to place a die, which is really
Correct.
Right.
You
It's an
just
effect when you draft.
you just get a
nice.
drafting.
You just get it for
boost.
drafting.
Yeah.
The 4 lets you upgrade one of your patrons in your tavern. There's some rules with that, but that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. And then the 5 is you're moving on the monastery track again. So it's a nice way to get to move again, right, on that track. But you're going to kind of, when you assign that noble, you don't know what die you have. So you're trying to guess or hope.
Right, what you might get.
And like regular taverns, you can mitigate that with a dishwasher, things like that. There's a few ways to mess around with that. But
I'm not sure if you could use the dishwasher to do the drafting one, because it's when you take that die and you use the dishwasher when you assign the die.
good point.
Yeah.
So
Okay, fair point. All right, there we go.
that might be some minutia worth looking into, but I would assume that would be how that.
Yeah, that's how
triggers
I
and
assumed.
activates.
Okay.
Another example of Tim rules.
Hey, listen, all that matters is I had fun.
Yeah.
I played and I had fun. So this was Andrew's first time playing
Taverns at all.
Taverns at all.
So
Yeah.
he jumped in like head first and got like
We're
the
gonna
whole
play
shebang.
all but, like,
3
2.
of the expansions in the base game and 2 of the 4 expansions in the expansion game.
Yeah, we did
All
all.
right.
Good luck.
Okay.
We did all the modules. You picked it up really quick.
I'm
though.
just glad you brought your big boy pants and you handled it.
Yes.
His sleeves fell
Not
off.
my big
His
boy
sleeves fell off
sleeves,
trying to pull the
but
pants
yeah.
He was so excited.
Ripped right through.
His arm shot out to the side, and the sleeves just
Yeah.
flew off into the unknown.
Into the
Yep.
But anyways, so we're gonna go around. I guess let's just give our thoughts
about
on the
it?
game,
Sure.
or just the expansion, whatever.
Yeah.
And then after we're done with all of that, we'll give it a rating. So Spencer, why don't you start us off? What were your thoughts on Taverns and then the Open Doors expansion?
Right. Well, first off, I want to say the last time I played this was probably the last time we reviewed it 2 years ago. So I had a lot of relearning to do. And
Yes,
the
you
way
did.
my brain works, I had to constantly asking questions and figuring things out. And then when I finally get it, it clicks. But once you get that, it does click. It does, take a little bit of time with all these modules, but if you do it gradually, it's not going to be a problem at all.
Right.
This at the top, it took me a while to figure out how to do it, and I only ever did one of them, but it was very useful.
It took us all a minute to
Yeah.
actually
Yeah,
figure
it
out
was a
how
little bit
to
how
do it
that
the
worked.
right way. But
I
yeah.
very much like the sommelier because, just having that one go off.
One less die you got to worry about.
And in the beginning of the game, we were able to choose one thing that happened, and I chose to get the barmaid, which gave me an extra die. So it's almost like I'm getting 2 extra die every turn for doing nothing. I really like it. Unfortunately, we have these nice little 3D printed bits that you're not going to have.
Oh yeah, I mean they're
They're
fine.
wonderful. These, thank Julia for this.
Yep.
But no, I think it's a really fun game. I want to play this with my family, but I don't think they would be able to play it.
You could
You could
you
module
can
it down.
dilute this down.
Yeah.
I could do that.
just play with
Yeah.
less modules,
Yep.
and you could do it. It's pretty straightforward after that.
And Taverns is easy-ish to find, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What
Yep.
about the expansion?
Yes.
Mostly.
Good. Awesome. Then,
Yep.
this is very tempting.
I believe, is it CMYK or KY, CMKY, has the rights now. North Star used to have the rights, but it's still being printed and published.
Yeah.
So,
It's available.
yep. Yep.
Yep.
Andrew,
Yeah.
so first foray. I'm dying
so
to hear.
So these guys have told me about this game forever, and it's just like, it does not look like a game that I would be interested in. It just looks like one of those generic fantasy kind of medieval. Okay. I don't know what I was playing in terms of the expansion and all of the modules that come with all of these different boxes, but my experience was like, I'm going to go buy this game right after this because it was so much fun. Now, am I going to be a little underwhelmed when I take out Taverns of Tiefenthal and just set up the game normally, like without any modules? Probably.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, wait, where's that thing, or where's that thing that they showed me? But then that's going to make me want to like
Go out and buy
add
it.
this and maybe add another module that I haven't played. But this was so much fun, man.
This game is so good.
Yeah. I mean, you gave it a 10 on your
On my
previous
old
review.
on my old review, I did.
And like, I'm very weary of giving higher scores on games, but like, this is a winner in my book.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. There were a couple things that felt weird, but I got used to them. And once I got used to them, I was like, okay, I understand what, like the wine. It took me a while to get the
Sommelier.
sommelier. It took me a while to get used to him, but like, you're always being given stuff, and that felt good. But I was never overloaded with resources. I felt smart every move I made.
Yeah.
You know, and like every stock bonus, I eventually came to learn that these gold purchases are the kind of the default purchases, and the beer
ones.
purchases are all kind of custom cards. All of these felt awesome to
They're
draw.
all very
they are good.
useful.
Very
Like
useful.
there's not a single one that I would want to draw where I would draw and be like, damn.
Yeah.
Well-
like I bought that in the early game and now I don't really want it.
Right.
Maybe the beer versus the beer
Seller.
seller.
But the fact that it doesn't count against you.
Yeah, that's
it's
what makes
like
it so awesome.
The fact that you keep, this is my favorite thing, is you keep drawing until your tables are full, and that is such an exciting.
So if you keep drawing crew and tables,
It's
you
like
keep filling,
push your
filling,
luck,
filling.
but it's not push
Right.
your luck. It's like,
It's deck building.
did you buy tables?
But it
Yeah.
gives
It's
you
like-
that push your luck feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
This game rocks, man.
Yeah,
You
it
guys were
does.
right. You guys were right. This game
That
is
does.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
sure does.
Yeah.
Bobby, what do you got?
I say if Andrew could say that one more time into the microphone, so we for really clearly
the-
that we were right. Yeah, just one more time.
You were right. This game rocks.
Flip that.
We could almost skip my final thoughts, because like that's really what I have to
Yeah.
say about this game is you were right and this game rocks.
Yeah, Taverns is great. I reviewed it really high last time we played it. I've kind of gone through and like, pimped out my version a little bit, upgraded. I'm not a fan of wooden dice. It comes with wooden dice. Not a fan of those, just because I like a little bit more heft to my die. But this is a fantastic game. I play with basically the way Tim taught it, with all the modules from the base game, which I think I believe are 4 or 5 of them. But with experienced gamers, it's really not too much to take in. I've actually talked to Tim about. I've considered playing like a whole year of Taverns because the board is double-sided. There's like a kind of like a fall side and a winter side. So we could play through one side and then flip it over, then play through the other side. And just to imagine like how much your tavern would be humming
Yeah.
by the end of that
Oh my
second year,
gosh,
there'd be
you have
so much
so
going
many
on.
tables.
How many
Yeah,
points? We're talking
dude,
about
it'd be
thousands
so
of points.
cool. Yeah,
I think
tons
you're
and
gonna
tons of points.
Just running out of nobles.
What we need to do when we experiment with that is
Yeah.
try it with
All
everything,
everything,
Yeah.
yeah, the
everything.
whole
Because
kit
if
and
it's gonna
caboodle.
be a little bit of a lot,
yeah.
like really just dig in.
Give you a chance to really kind of try everything out.
I wouldn't do it with the initial startup bonus, just so that, because that makes it last a little longer.
Yeah, but that adds a little bit more asymmetry to it too.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
guess
everybody-
that's true.
everybody
That
gets to
does,
pick
yeah.
a slightly
Yeah.
different
Don't
starting
you,
point.
Spencer? Don't you come in here and tell Bob
Yeah,
how
don't you tell me how to fantasize. I'll fantasize how I want, darn it. But like the expansion, the way it adds the open doors and these rooms that go up top. And when we figured out that because we thought, assigning a die to there, because Andrew's making a point. It's like, why would I assign a 5 to that if I'm assigning a 5 down here as much as I want? It doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
And so when we read the rules, again, a little bit more clearly, it's as soon as you draft.
When you
the die.
draft
it's
it.
a
It's
triggered
special.
effect.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a triggered effect that happens. It's so nice because
even
then
better.
It's even better
Oh
because
my
you
God.
don't have to assign a die.
Which is where my
And
one complaint would be is the
It was tough to tell.
iconography.
And that's
Little-
Dan and and I were talking about that. If they could put either like a little arrow on there or a little
Yeah.
hand showing like when you take it, then that's what happens, and that would help a little bit. But otherwise, the iconography is strong.
Yeah.
And I really like how on your tavern that you're constantly upgrading, it's got the cost in gold and how much it costs, the discount you get for trading in the people that you would trade in to make this cheaper, and then the effect you're going to have on the other side. So you without having to look constantly on what's on the
all your
backside,
information's there.
It's all there and available. It's just a super well done, very well designed. The iconography is fairly easy to understand. And I like that when you buy cards, they go on top of your deck. So you're using them right away. You have access to it right away, which is super nice. And it's just, I love this game. I'm not great at it. I don't tend to win very often, but it's just one of those games that it doesn't matter. Like I still have fun
Well,
playing.
the
rolling
combos,
dice.
though, because you're doing combos, your engine's firing.
Right,
It doesn't
yeah.
take long to get your engine running,
It's
and-
fun to like kick people out,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fantastic. And like I didn't do much with the sommelier this time, which is a little disappointing. But I was trying to figure out the nobles and get them taught how to work. And now I'm curious of what this other person does.
That's the bartender.
That's the
That's the
module,
bartender.
module number 3.
Okay, yeah. We'll have to do that
It looks
soon
like it can
because
turn any
I'm
3 or
excited.
4 into whatever.
Those are
die
all
you
unique.
want.
They're all unique.
Oh,
They're all unique.
nice.
Ooh, I say yeah. Mine doesn't say that at all. Mine's like
Yeah.
check a person and gain a coin or something. But
Yeah, same.
Cool.
Check a person. Move
But
on
yeah,
to
it's a fantastic game. Like, if you like dice, you like drafting, action, modular boards, like it's a win. Like I think this is better than Quacks. I know Quacks gets a lot of hype and everything, and I do enjoy Quacks, but it's so much more push your luck. It's just pure push your luck. This one, I feel like there's a lot more mitigation that you can do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. For a minute, this was like my most played game. Like everybody always, we're playing Taverns all the time.
Yeah.
And then we got Quacks, and everybody wanted to play Quacks. I love Quacks. I think Quacks of Quedlinburg is great. We are comparing it because it is the same designer, specifically. But when we did like our top 50 games, Taverns is still above
Right.
Quacks, and both are in my top 50.
Okay.
But Taverns is still like a top 10 game for me. It's so good. And the nice thing about the expansion is, we've had this game now for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And this just breathes new life into it. It's like, well, another reason to get it back out on the table. And then playing it, it's just like, man, I love this game.
Yeah.
I still love this game. It is one of my all-time favorite games. Again, the expansions have it's sort of like every other module we put in the game. It has only increased my experience and the good times that I have.
I've yet to add something to the game. I'm like,
Yeah. No. There's like, well, we could skip that one. Like, no, I like them all.
Oh,
Like,
that's good. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
yeah. So it'll be interesting when we try out the other ones. They recommend you do the first 2.
Sure.
That's what I did, just for ease getting it to the table quickly so that we could play it and review it. But yes, I prefer this over Quacks. I'm not saying no, I don't want to play Quacks because I love it. I think it's a fantastic game and have a blast playing that as well. But this is a more gamey game for me, right? Like I just, there's a little bit more strategy, in there, and then with the timing and some of the asymmetry with how you build your stuff and what you upgrade when and things like that. I love this game. This game's so good. Right. We're going to do a final rating.
Yeah.
Hey guys, do you like our live streams, our top 10s, our unboxings, our reviews, our Kickstarter previews? Well, if you want more of that stuff, you should consider supporting us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Game Talk Network.
Spencer,
Yep.
since Dan's not sitting there.
Oh yeah.
How do we do that?
So we're each going to give it a rating of 1 to 10 with 0.5s. We're going to average them together, and that's what we're going to put on BGG and things like that. If you like someone else's rating better, if you like how Tim likes to play games, take his opinion.
Yeah. Or if
Yeah.
you think I'm a dummy like these guys do, take one of their opinions. All right, Spencer, why don't you go first?
Okay, I just want to add one more real quick thing. I really like how the only thing that we're doing that really involves the turns is buying the beer stuff.
Yeah, everything else is
Everything else we're doing all
simultaneous.
here, it really sped the game up.
Which is why you beat us by 40 points. We trusted you to do
Ah!
all of that stuff by yourself.
Shots fired.
Yep.
Well, that was the other thing, is it took
Mr.
me a while to
Noble.
do stuff. I am prone to analysis paralysis, as you can tell. So I am actually going to give this one a 9. I want to give it a 9.5, just because, those two reasons really. The analysis paralysis was
Tough.
my big problem, but other than that, it was a 9.
Nice. Andrew.
Okay, so I have to take a step back here because I'm not reviewing Taverns of Tiefenthal. I'm reviewing the expansion. So I have to ask, what was part of the expansion?
This board up top,
This board,
Everything up
Sommelier,
here.
Sommelier,
and the Quacks guys that we added.
Yep.
the Quacks guys. These
Those
Those guys.
Yes.
Okay,
They were
so
good.
okay, so I did get to play with the Quacks guys.
Yep.
And I think of all the people, I think I actually played with this the most. So I was fortunate enough to actually play with the expansion, not even knowing it. Great. So if I could rate this game, it's a 9 for
Nice.
sure. And I don't get into the 9 range much anymore, but this game is awesome. But the sommelier was cool. Once we learned that these were
Drafting abilities.
one-time abilities,
They
that
got
was
a lot
okay.
cooler.
The abilities were like they were not the best. They weren't the most.
But it's a free thing.
But it's a free
It's a
thing.
free
That's
You don't have to
why it's
assign
not
a
super
die.
You
powerful.
just have to draft a number and you get it. So
Yeah.
that's cool. I would of all that I played with, the top was the least
Interesting.
interesting, but it still was. It didn't feel weird. It didn't feel clunky. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like they're just trying to sell another $40
right.
whatever expansion.
And it gave the nobles another thing that you
Right.
can do.
So you can like
with
do
them.
something with the nobles who typically don't do much.
They
Yeah.
usually don't do anything.
So the nobles are in the original game.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
and they usually
Okay.
just kind of suck.
Yeah,
right.
they
I mean,
just
yeah,
sit
they're
there and you
points,
pile 'em
They're
up.
just like
but
they're like in Dominion, those high
yeah.
the
point cards that kind of just
correct.
clog up. Okay, so I would have to give the expansion an 8. So add that number to our expansion rating now that I
Gotcha.
know what part was. But it was great. I love the wine. The wine was probably my favorite part of that just because it's like, oh, that goes in a special spot. I don't know why it goes in the last spot. We have some lore theories, but like, why does the last guy get wine? And I don't know. Maybe it's
Closest to the cellar.
Because that sommelier is like
maybe.
trying to like he's
Sure.
moved to town. He's just trying to get in
Gotcha.
there.
He's just sneaking little
So,
free
yeah.
samples. So yeah, I would have to go
So-
with an 8. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I really enjoy Taverns a lot. I think I gave it a 9, like I was saying in our earlier review. I think this expansion is actually really good. I think the fact that it's adding things to the game that you don't have to necessarily assign dice to, right? Because you only have so many dice, and so if I'm having to just take those limited resources I have and then just also assign it to that too,
Yeah, it's not thinning anything out.
right?
Right.
It feel like real taxing, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh crap, now I can't do
Yeah.
the normal things I'm doing. This is just stuff I get to do in addition to, and plus I'm getting the sommelier. Oh, that's just a bonus guy who's now at my table. I can take that 5 or whatever and do something else with it instead of having to put it on him to gain the 5 money, and that's super helpful. I'm going to give the expansion a 9.5. I think it makes the game better by adding in effects and things I can do without having to
Place
change what I
dice there,
normally do
Yeah.
during the game. You know?
But it gives you an incentive to draft that 5 or
Right,
whatever.
and then sometimes
Yeah.
you get, like, yeah, okay, the nobles all sit at one table typically, so if you're drawing them off the top, you can put them all at one table, which is nice. But, like, if you're at the very beginning even, like, oh, I've only got, like, one noble here or one noble there, instead of having that rando 2 that now has to sit at a table, I can put it up top. And if I draft something, I'm going to get a bonus ability to go with it, and I still left table space open for normal people. I think that's a good way to do something with the victory point cards also, that's not a normal thing. And so I appreciated that as well.
Yeah, I mean, so I went back and checked. I gave the original base game, playing with all the modules, a 10. The expansion only increases my, enjoyment because it makes other parts of it more interesting, also, right? Having not played the other 2 yet, I don't know, even if the other 2 are like, no, I don't love those as much. It doesn't matter because the 2 we did play,
Make the game better.
they made
yeah.
the game better.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily make it like where it's unplayable without them.
Correct.
But I mean, I'm just gonna say a 10. It's just a 10 because it was a 10 before. It did nothing to take away anything.
Sure.
The game's a 10, and so far, half of the
Yeah.
box, the open doors box,
Yeah.
is just as good for me.
Nice.
So yeah.
Cool. So if you take all of our scores and we add them together and average them, beep, boop, 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 9.1.
Good Lord.
Wow.
It's gotta be one of our highest rated
Highest
games.
one, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But yeah, this was awesome. I was really glad that I was.
I can't believe you didn't tell me about
I
that.
know. I was dying to tell you. I was talking to a friend I'll call him a friend. His name is Peter, not Pete.
Oh, I was like, dang.
Not Pete.
Sorry, Pete.
Call him a friend.
And he and I were talking, and he's like, you guys were talking about Taverns as a deck builder the other day, and that expansion you can get in the United States. I'm like, what? So I immediately got on, ordered it, and I was like, just ordered it. And I knew I was going to get it yesterday so that I could play it today. And I was like, oh, Bob's going to be so mad. You might be able to find it at Origins or something.
Yeah, I already added it to the list.
Yeah.
My Origins list.
So anyways, Taverns of Tiefenthal, this is the Open Doors expansion. And I'm really glad, Andrew, I'm really glad we've hyped this game up. So I'm really glad that you did enjoy it. Because
for over a half year, you guys have told me about this game. Never played it, but go buy the base game. If you've never played this, go buy the base game.
Buy it.
Shoot.
Yeah.
It's good.
yeah, all the modules in there. It's fantastic.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, guys, before we sign off?
No.
I think we're good.
Well, thanks for watching our review of Taverns of Tiefenthal by Wolfgang Warsch. For the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
Spencer.
Andrew.
Peace out.